Hi, my name is Jay Frier. I've been part of the barn since its inception, which is close to 2 decades ago. I was fresh out of, a few years out of prison and had led a really rambunctious life. I'd been given a death sentence at 18 with a terminal kidney disease. I'd been arrested with some guys that were doing home invasions of drug dealers in Atlanta and had been charged with everything under the sun: armed robbery, conspiracy to commit aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I think 7 felonies I'd been charged with. So I was completely off the rails. Again, dealing with the diagnosis, but I don't want that to be an excuse. I was off the rails because I just wanted to be in full-on rebellion. And I knew who the Lord was. I knew him. I was mad at him.
The law is this. Here's the law in the kingdom of God.
I recall being in my apartment watching TV about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had a word from Creflo Dollar came on, and it was about everything you plant, you're going to reap. And I had a Bible, started digging, and it's not just a principle, it's a law going back to Genesis, the law of seed time and harvest. What gets planted will reap, and it's reiterated in the New Testament, what we sow, we're going to reap. And I am sowing discord everywhere I go, and I'm reaping the whirlwind. I'm literally getting in, altercations every weekend with somebody. And I'm like, it just resonated with me in such a way that I'm like, I'm going to give my life to the Lord. But it was the parable of the sower and the seed again, right? Like the seed got sown on some really stony ground, 13 years of living hard, and the enemy came in to take it up. The beautiful thing is God wasn't going to let that. It brings me to tears right now thinking about it, because God wasn't going to let that happen. And so I woke up in the Cobb County Jail on Halloween of '96, and I was facing all these charges in DeKalb County on the home invasion. Now I'm facing DUI, habitual violator, which is a felony, criminal damage to property over $1,000, which was a felony. So more felonies, just everywhere, felonies everywhere. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going back to prison, and I'll have a prison ministry, but I am not backing off. Like, I am giving myself to the Lord completely 100%. And that's where I fell down on my face in that jail and gave my life to the Lord. And a buddy of mine just happened to bail me out, put his house up as collateral. And I began going to that black church down on the south side of Atlanta. I didn't know he was down there, but I started going to Creflo Dollar's church. And I remember, maybe 2 or 3 times down there, these sweet little old black ladies laid hands on me. And it's the only time in my life I got laid out in the Spirit. I came up speaking in tongues. I didn't even know what that was. I'd been raised Baptist, so I didn't even know what it was. I remember my parents were living down in Florida at the time, and I went down there to visit them for a while, and went to my parents and I said, I think I'm going to look for a job up in Nashville, Tennessee. I'd never been here before. So I moved up here in '97, Memorial Day, like crying the whole trip up, because I'm like, charges here, charges there. My parents were like, you're going back to prison. So I got to Nashville, and within 5 days of being in Nashville, the detective called me and said, I've decided to drop all the charges against you. Because I don't know why, I've never done this before, but I'm going to do it. Came back up in June just for a prelim hearing on the DUI, habitual violator, and criminal damage to property. And the judge said, you weren't even in your car. You were outside of your car having a verbal argument with yourself, which again is so spiritual to me based on what happened 3 days before that, right? With the word that I got. It's like my spirit man's having a battle with my flesh man. And I'm out of my car having the spiritual battle with myself, and I kicked some guy's car in the midst of people. It was just an apartment complex. Like, people see this, right? And they were like, the judge was like, if you'll just pay for this man's car, you're gonna get charged with that, but you don't have to pay anything, and you can go back to Nashville and just be on your merry way. So they dropped all the charges except kicking that guy's car. So within a month of being back here, the Lord dropped all the charges. When I came here to interview and I got the job, the guys that had done the home invasion with me both did another one, and they both got shot in the back of the head and were killed. And I lost 2 more friends to murder during that window of time, literally from the spring of 1997 until I moved here Memorial Day of 97. I mean, it was a sign to me that it was time to get out of there. I lost quite a few friends to murder during that time. And one of my buddies gone to work for Microsoft, and he's like, you should come over here and apply because you would do really well over here. And I'm like, dude, my arrest record, I've seen my NCIC report. It rolls out on the floor. It's absolutely horrendous. And I said, man, they're never going to hire me, dude. Like, here's just apply. So I apply, and they're like, oh, you got the job. All we got to do is do the background check. And I'm like, yeah, here we go. They called me like 2 days later. Yeah, we did the background check. Like, it came back perfectly clear. We found nothing. Welcome to Microsoft. And so I spent 18 years of my life working in Microsoft, and the last 5 years working in data and artificial intelligence. I've never been to college. When I went off the rails when I was a kid, I never went to college. And the particular role I had as a principal solution specialist in healthcare in data and AI required a master's degree. Watching him orchestrate life and watching him, again in this barn, orchestrate men's lives that have just crumbled, just complete chaos and just shambles on the floor. And God takes them all, scoops them back up just like he did me, and says, I'm building something new, and it's going to be even better than it was. The unique story about me with the barn is I was, 40-something years old when the barn started, but I still was dealing with this terminal kidney disease, and my kidneys were failing. You go on a transplant list and you wait for a kidney, and all of a sudden I start seeing these guys, 7 to 10 guys in the barn and another 5 or 8 inside the church, go get tested to give me a kidney. And so I'm blown away. Vanderbilt was blown away. And in July of 2017, one of the guys in the barn named Brian McNeil wound up giving me a kidney. And it saved my life. This barn has been my lifeline to staying accountable. It's been my lifeline to fellowship. It's been my lifeline to friendships and brotherhood, and we're brothers. It's Jonathan's to David. It's been my lifeline.